It kind of reminds me of what's going on right now with bioidentical hormones. All right, if a certain unnamed pharmaceutical company is up in arms about bioidentical hormones, well, let's look at the safety of the product that they manufacture that comes from a certain certain excreted product of a horse. So let's look at theirs. Let's put theirs to the same double-blind, rigorous testing that you might put soy-derived progesterone to, or other types of natural hormone replacement. That, you know, if they want to take us to the mat and go enter the ring, it's interesting why they call it a boxing ring if it's square. But nonetheless, if they want to do that, let's go toe-to-toe with these people and realize, getting back, that our dietary choices play a role. Now, we're told to do more for our patients, right? This is an ad for a drug that blocks fat absorption because everybody knows that fat is bad, right? If you walked up to a person on the street and they looked you in the eye and they had said fat, you'd feel terrible. It's because it's a bad word, right? Well, this is what we're told to do. We're supposed to block fat absorption by 30%. But fat is one of the big three. We have carbohydrates, protein, and fat. And your brain is 70% fat. I'm not looking at you in particular. I mean, everybody's brain, hopefully, is 70% fat. So if somebody calls you a fathead, it's a scientific statement of truth. That you need fat. Your body's desperate for fat. But when we're told to do more, we're told to give them drugs. But my statement, in terms of doing more, this is what people should be doing. We should be telling people to do more exercise. And I didn't, when I put this animation up there, I didn't realize how much it looked like a past president. I did not have a fat-consuming relationship with that woman. A high-fat diet. Well, forgive the graininess of this image, because I took it off the internet last night. This is the March 13th, what's today, the 11th? This is the March 13th, 2006 cover of Newsweek magazine. You won't have this in your syllabus, because it just came out last night. But the article is very interesting. Confused from fat to calcium. People are desperately confused, and they're confused because of the media. That we should be on a low-fat this, and we should take this because it reduces fat absorption, and everything is low-fat. Nothing could be more harmful to the human health, to the human condition, than restricting something from which our brains are manufactured. Fat is the fundamental component of the human brain. It's the fundamental chemical that regulates our immune systems and regulates not just the brain, but the whole peripheral nervous system, the insulation, myelin. So the lipid bilayer of every cell in your body, the lipid bilayer is made by definition of lipids. So fat is desperately important. I have 10 o'clock. Should we take a short break? All right. Let's take a short break. We'll come back. We'll talk about why certain fats are considered essential. Thank you. Well, as many of you, I'm sure, are on the edge of your seats wanting to know about that new technology that we have at our facilities now. We were able to get in some video. It's just sent to us on this latest technology that we have. And I'd like to show this to you now. This is something that we offer exclusively at our... here it is. Why do I feel like Michael Dell right now?
What's this month?
An electroencephalograph. It records the electrical activity of the brain. And this way we can tell whether the brain is working properly. And if not, we can get some idea of what's wrong with it.
Oh, I love the horn-rimmed glasses. Oh, what do you know? This is even a later version. All right, I want to go back to the presentation, essential fatty acids. So what we talked about while you guys were having your break, what you were thinking about, I'm sure, is this idea that fat is a good thing. But what's important is not the amount of fat in the diet, but what type of fat we consume. That's critical. We've looked at Dr. Morris's work now for quite some time, and she discovered that individuals who have the highest level of fish consumption have the lowest risk for Alzheimer's disease. And this study, took place over quite a few years. So we've known for a long time that fish is so-called brain food. And that is because fish contains high levels of something called DHA, docosahexaenoic acid, DHA. But, there's concerns about fish these days because of contamination with things like pesticides and mercury. And we know also that people who eat a lot of animal products, especially cooked animal products, have a higher risk of things like Parkinson's disease. Well, when you look at the types of fats people consume, if you consume a lot of hydrogenated or processed fats, then your risk for Alzheimer's goes up 360%. But actually unhydrogenated or saturated or polyunsaturated fats will reduce your risk of Alzheimer's. So looking specifically at DHA, look at the dramatic reduction in Alzheimer's risk in people with the highest levels of consumption of DHA. So DHA is absolutely a player. We're learning more and more about DHA and its important role in brain health. We're going to learn in just a few minutes that DHA is kind of fundamental in actually leading to brain regeneration. That miner, the one miner who survived the disaster recently got two things. He got DHA in huge dosages, and he got hyperbaric oxygen therapy. We do that for years. It's how we treat our Alzheimer's patients and Parkinson's and MS patients. So this is very healing for the brain. Well, here's the formula, and this won't be on the quiz. Previously we talked about DHA and the fact that it comes from fish, but we now know that we can get DHA from algae, and that can be grown in a stainless steel vat in a laboratory to produce DHA from non-contaminated sources. But DHA plays a role in what's called mitochondria and neuronal membrane fluidity, the very heart at where neurons communicate with each other. Also plays a role in inhibiting the COX-2 enzyme. And I demonstrated to you earlier on how important COX-2 upregulation is in the inflammatory process. COX-2 is so important because it's upregulated in ALS, in Parkinson's, in Alzheimer's, MS. So, again, it's this activation of the COX-2 enzyme that leads to the turning on of these damaging genes. We'll go back to recognize that DHA reduces COX-2 activity. You can actually measure COX-2 enzyme in the hippocampus of Alzheimer's patients who die and correlate their COX-2 levels with their degree of dementia at the time they died. This is the clinical dementia rating scale. At 0, you're functioning very well. You have very little COX-2 staining. And then all the way down at level 5, you are totally dependent upon others for your simple activities of daily living, requiring activities of self-care, assistance. So this shows that COX-2 is directly related to your degree of compromise from a functional point of view. So again, we need to learn to treat the fire and not just the smoke. And again, our goal as practitioners of this type of neurology, maybe you would call this functional medicine or functional neurology. Many of you are familiar with that term, Institute for Functional Medicine. Because I think that if you treat patients in this way and pay attention to their nutrition and lifestyle and the role of all these things, that's what we characterize as being functional medicine. It means that, I guess, the mainstream approach would be kind of dysfunctional medicine. And I think, Mark, let's go to, if you're there, presentation number 2. Okay, thank you. During the break, various interesting questions were asked, and I don't know where to begin. One of the things about the intravenous glutathione is that this is not mixed with anything except maybe a little sodium hydroxide to buffer it. Saline at the time of use, and we like to, glutathione is a very light-sensitive and heat-sensitive a chemical, tripeptide, so it is generally prepared in a compounding pharmacy and then shipped on dry ice and then taken out of the container and given very quickly. That's, in fact, the protocol that we're using in our research studies. So again, looking at the effect of fat on inflammation. Inflammation is the cornerstone of neurodegenerative diseases, and our types of fat that we consume regulates the amount of inflammation.